what I'm sitting on here is the Dogon platform bed. This was a project that we built in the Guild, and what's a little bit different about this project is, unlike most Guild builds, this one focused more on design evolution and a relationship with a client. This is a build that I made for a client, so I figured it would be fun to cover that experience of starting with a client's initial concept idea, whether it's a hand sketch or even just a picture of a commercial product that's out there. How do you take that and bring that to something that is unique and also something that's possible in wood? Half the time, most people who request this stuff have no idea what's possible or not possible with wood products. So we have to make sure that the customer's expectations are met and that we're satisfied as the builder that this thing is going to last the test of time. And something like a bed, there's a lot of difficulties in thinking of how the weight is going to be distributed. I mean, look at this rail. That board is horizontal. So how do we make sure that that doesn't sag, even though there's no support all the way down this entire stretch? These are the kind of challenges that we face. So it's a really, really interesting experience. But what I wanted to do was take a smaller portion of that video set and bring that here to the free site to show you at least how it goes together. And if you're interested in that extra stuff about the design and the experience with the client, you could certainly sign up for the build, and I guarantee it'll be worth the asking price. So if you want to look at some of the details now, we can just take a look. I can show you some of the thought process that went behind the design, show you what's going on underneath this mattress here, and I think it's going to be a good time, so let's get to it.
The headboard sports a beautiful raised panel made from African wengi. The top portion of the headboard tilts back at a 20-degree angle. Many pieces were strategically cut to retain grain continuity while giving the piece a natural, organic flow. The rails were built up to a full 3 inches thick and connect to a massive footboard via mortise and tenon joints. The bed support features maple slats and a critical center support rail.
So now it's time to start rough cutting these monster boards. Now, at 14 feet long, 8-quarter thick, these things are a pain in the butt to move around. In fact, I had to get my stepdad to come over just to help me get them from the truck to this location. So I am not about to lift each and every one of these boards up and move them around so that I can cut them. Like always, when it comes to this rough cutting process, I like to use my jigsaw. I find a jigsaw to be much easier, much safer than any other tool that we could possibly do this job with.
With the pieces broken down to rough length, I start jointing the edges. Fortunately, these boards are already flat, so no face jointing is necessary. At the table saw, the boards are cut to final width. The first part of the bed we'll focus on is the footboard, which is made from 3 separate pieces glued together to form one massive slab. Because I want the footboard's grain to be continuous, I'm cutting the parts out from really wide boards. To create the cutout, we'll actually separate the top strip from the bottom strip, which contains the feet. The feet are cut off each end of the bottom board, and then they can be matched back up to the top board. Cabinet maker's triangles help me keep track of where each piece goes. All 3 footboard pieces are cut in this fashion, and now it's time to glue them back together. With the help of some dominoes for alignment, the small foot pieces are easily glued back onto the long top piece. After the glue dries, the joints are cleaned up at the drum sander. The pieces are then inspected to ensure that the end grain is running in a consistent direction, and this will have a huge impact on the final look of the piece. Dominoes are once again used for alignment purposes, and each piece is thoroughly coated with glue. With the help of some clamps, the seams are nearly invisible. Anyone who has ever made an end grain cutting board knows how much of a nightmare it is to sand down end grain, so I break out the Festool Rotex to make that job easier. I don't often use the Rotex in my work, but in a situation like this, it's invaluable. The inside end grain requires a little bit more work, so I remove the high stuff with a block plane and finish the surface with a sander. This isn't a highly visible part of the project, but we still want it to look good. The rest of the footboard is planed and sanded until it's nice and smooth.
Next time on The Wood Whisperer.